Okay, guys, and we are live. So seconds are ticking. The sound is being picked up. Let's hope. Okay, there was no powerful butt scooting today, but still. So we sat here today with Matt Sweeney. Good morning, Matt.
Good
How's it
morning.
going?
Thank you, Oleg. Thanks for having me on. I'm
Yeah, no
excited.
problem. Yeah, very cool. So, yeah, what we kind of like wanted to look at today is the morning aspects of the human's physicality, right? So, yeah, when you wake up, so you want to kind of like feel energized. That's one of the things that you might consider feeling for kind of the productive day ahead, for instance, right? Sometimes, yeah, we can be relaxed for the entire day, but once we wake up, so how can one feel, let's say, more energized
Totally.
upon awakening kind of as fast as possible,
So,
perhaps?
so I really like this topic because sleep interests me. I actually took a small course in college. It was only like a one credit course on sleep, just particularly, and it was a while ago now. But I still like to look into it. So one of the ways I think, obviously, the 8 hours of sleep is super important.
Okay.
Some people can get away with seven. Some people maybe six. But once you start getting to that area, you're putting yourself at risk for lack of energy. You're putting yourself
Okay.
at risk for injury too. They did a lot of
Right.
studies that I think it's less than six. Your rate of injury goes way up.
Oh boy.
Um,
Okay.
so I mean, a couple things you can kind of like biohack or optimize sleep would be um, getting the room as dark as possible. For me, for instance, I use blackout curtains. I use a night mask.
Nice.
I like having my
Okay.
room super dark. Any
Good
lights?
features.
Yeah.
So you need to build up before you wake up, right? So
Yeah.
to speak, by like six at least, dark room.
Dark room. Yeah.
Okay.
Keeping the temperature pretty low.
Right.
Typically, they think if you can get your temperature a little lower than room temperature, you're gonna fall into a deeper sleep. You're gonna reach those sleep cycles, those sleep stages a little better. That REM
Okay.
sleep, that
Yeah.
deep sleep. And they found that REM sleep, that rapid eye movement sleep, is where your body actually does the most recovery. So if you can get in, and
Right.
not only for your physical but mental too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you can hit that REM sleep by doing some of these things to hack yourself into it, you're gonna be able to recover physically. You're gonna feel better the next day.
Exactly. Okay.
And one of the ways I like to track that, I wear a Whoop, which is just an easy like Apple Watch or like a bio tracker. So basically, what that tells you is okay, how many hours did you sleep? What was the quality of your sleep? Were you tossing and turning during the night? Did you wake up a few times?
Nice.
Did you actually
Okay.
hit that rapid eye movement? Did you hit that REM sleep?
So
And
detailed stats basically
yeah,
that you can get, and it doesn't sort of like hamper your sleep
no,
by like being on the wrist.
no, I thought it would. They just came out. This is the 4.0. They had the 3.0 before,
Right.
and sometimes it would flip upside down like that.
Okay.
But this one hasn't, and I'm used to it by now. It's just like anything else. Like I think once you wear it for a while, your body just becomes used to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. So that's just not a sponsor. It's just a practical option.
I wish
right,
it was
to
a
keep
sponsor.
in mind. Yeah, maybe eventually, but for now,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just like use what we have. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what you can do during the sleep, right? And then when you wake up, right? So to predispose yourself to this like optimal physicality. So do you use some sort of rapid ejection out of the bed protocol, or is it too stressful? Because I heard it might be stressful on your organism if you subject yourself to alarms, for example.
Oh, sure.
So
I mean I haven't heard that, but I believe it. Yeah.
okay,
I think a routine is super important.
okay,
So building yourself a routine, so it's almost like you don't have to think about what you need to do when you're getting out of bed.
so just awakening, yeah, and then
Yeah.
getting out of the bed. Okay,
So
automatic.
and I
Okay.
think that also even starts the night before.
Mm,
Like we talked about
all
meal
right.
prep. So
Yeah,
so let's say we just did a 6:30 a.m. jujitsu roll,
right.
so which is early.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
if you can build your routine the night before of like okay, meal prep, put my clothes, kind of get ready for your first day of school type
yeah.
thing. And then you can
That's
just
a good
wake up
idea.
and just be good to go.
Huh, okay.
That can be super helpful as far as building a routine. And the other part is, I mean, as from my physical therapy background, is for a lot of people that either are struggling with stiffness, mobility, or injuries, the first thing in the morning is a great time to get some stretching in, get some joint fluid moving in the body.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I kind of like feel by myself as I wake up. I might not be very fast and mobile. That's why the nighttime preparation helps a lot. So I just need to get through this last pieces of fatigue of the day and then prep the meals, the gym bag, the science bag, and then yes, I will have kind of like less time waste in the morning because I am slower in the morning than later in the day.
Totally.
So, and then I might have just about maybe 45 minutes or 1 hour to get out of the door.
Yeah.
Right? So like every minute will matter. So nighttime preparation definitely does.
Helps
make
a
a
lot.
difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Especially in the morning, sometimes your brain is a little foggy, so
Exactly,
if
yeah.
you have to pack a bunch of stuff, the chance of you
Brain fog.
missing something,
Yeah,
you might forget.
that's very common. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a great tip. So so we have that, and then so I was thinking that maybe it's going to be possible if you take care of those kind of like small pesky things such as packing the bag and then the lunch bag, right, in the evening. Then in the morning, let's say yes, you apparently will have to brush your teeth because you cannot pre-brush them, so to speak, right? Or you cannot
there's some things you can't
pre-take a
skip.
shower in the evening. So, but what can we do so we now can concentrate on the physical stuff? I drink about 32 ounces of water with some salt and lemon.
Nice.
So that's like what I must do in the morning, and then I must allocate time for that. Otherwise, I'll miss it. So, in terms of like the physical movement, what can we do?
Yeah,
So-
there's a couple things. So depending on what you have going on, let's say you're someone, because you could just do a general small like stretching program, and that might be good for you. And that's great because you're moving, you're getting blood flowing to the body and to the brain. You're allowing yourself to wake up. But if you're someone like for right now, example, my hip's a little tight, so maybe my morning stretches. At night, you're not moving for 8 hours typically.
Yeah,
so
that's
things
right.
tend to stiffen up a little bit. So
Pretty-
maybe in the
pretty
morning,
static.
like the hip is where I'll really focus. My work.
Right.
So it's good to have a general routine, maybe get
Okay.
that heart rate up, but also if you have something specific, that's a good time to work on it. And a big thing we feel in PT is like, okay, well, in physical therapy, all right, we'll give you a few drills to work on a daily basis.
Right.
But if you kind of put them off, or you kind of don't really have a set time that you do them, there's a lot of days you're gonna miss it. So if you can the first thing in the morning kind of have that routine already built, so it becomes a no-brainer.
Right.
It kind of just builds a pattern and builds a habit of a good time to do it.
Okay. So yeah, it can be either focused on some sort of problematic area, right? So yeah, I think that was my experience when I had the, let's say, problem with the shoulder. It was some sort of injury, right? Then I was focusing on that for like a period of time, let's say on a daily basis or some like every other day, couple days a week at least. But yeah, it did help this routine, and then kind of the injury eventually was fixed. So after some focused approach, but yeah, I had to incorporate it. Okay, let's say 15 minutes or something twice a week, and then it was maybe some sort of minimum, and then it allowed me to recover pretty fast, I would say, overall, compared with the fact that this injury was bothering me for years. As a matter of fact, because it was one of those kind of unsuccessful drops on the mats, and then that led to the shoulder problems. So and then what can be, let's say, like a general routine? Let's say it's going to be some sort of regular person, right? So just and then they want to feel energized.
Totally.
In the morning, they want to feel like, okay, well, now I'm able to move around the kitchen to the vehicle, and stuff like that.
So, one morning routine that I really like that I don't do all the time, but I'll kind of do in waves when I feel like I need it, and I want to do it all the time, but things come in waves, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that I like is called Savers, and each letter stands for an acronym, and there's a movement piece in there.
Okay.
So Savers, the S is going to be scribe, so writing in a journal, like writing your days.
Yeah.
And each one could be 2 minutes long. So
Nice.
this whole routine could take 10 minutes. So
Okay.
scribe. Next one is affirmations. So it's kind of like a meditative state. Trying to just think of like kind of like goals or like things you want to aspire to, either in the day, the week, in a month, whatever. Just kind of like a positive affirmation.
Okay.
V is visualization. So kind of along the same lines as that, but it's more focused on like a visual aspect. Like you actually want to try to see it through your brain. Michael Jordan did a lot of that with basketball, and there's a lot of like pro athletes that like, okay, I actually want to like visualize the play, visualize the sport, and there's a weird like mind-body connection with that. Like if you can visualize it, there's kind of like connections to your body that allows you to do those things a little easier sometimes. Visualization can play a huge part.
Yeah.
The E is exercise.
Okay.
So that's where I like that brings back to the physical part. And again, this routine can be as short or as long as you make it. Sometimes I've done it where each letter is 1 minute. So it's a 1 minute exercise. So you want to try to pick something
nice.
that's like, okay, what's 1 minute? So maybe I'll do burpees for a minute. Maybe I'll just do a stretching routine for a minute. Maybe I'll do some foam rolling, which I think is helpful too.
Okay.
Maybe I'll not quite exercise, but use the massage gun because I like that stuff. Maybe I have one of the Echo bikes or the assault bikes in my basement.
Right.
Maybe I'll hit that for a minute. Just something to get the blood flowing, heart rate up. And then R, reading. I have the Daily Stoics book. Have you heard of that one? Have you seen that one?
No, I don't think so.
It's every page is a small paragraph from one of the quote unquote Stoics.
Okay.
I can't think of one of the
there
names.
was a philosopher.
A philosopher. So it's
there was one in Greece, for instance.
Yeah. So
like
I'll just quickly skip through like, oh, that's kind of like the quote of the day or the passage. Yeah. So that's cool.
Okay.
And then
Habib is a Stoic, by the way.
Really?
So he exercises this stoicism or stoical approach to life and training.
Huh.
So here's an example of the modern day stoicism practitioner.
Yeah,
let's
totally.
Say. Yeah,
I could definitely see that, especially compared to a lot of other fighters. He's very stoic.
That's something to keep in mind. So pretty
and then
philosophy.
The last S is just silence. So trying to just completely quiet the brain, quiet the body.
So R for reading.
Yep.
And then S for silence. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good. I've done that in the past, and I really like it. You just feel just energized with the exercise. You feel mentally prepped, so you feel like ready for the day. And it can take 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Each one's a minute long.
Yeah. So I basically need to go through every letter, right?
Yep.
So and then on maybe busy days you can just pick one letter, right? So that's what you say,
I mean,
or you just try to.
You can do each letter for a minute.
Each letter for a minute. Okay.
Yeah. So it ends up being.
That's a pretty.
Yeah, it could 6 minutes.
holistic approach, right?
Yeah.
So and it only takes about 6 minutes. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. So that's a great way, I think. Yeah, it kind of involves the mind and body. As well. Okay. Yeah. So and then what was your kind of like experience once you kind of like achieve or do this routine? Let's say over a week, maybe Monday to Friday, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Relax maybe like 2 days a week, right? So just kind of like fall off a little bit. So how did you feel? What was the kind of like the result of this experiment?
I feel dialed in. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like once I finish that routine, I'm like, okay, what's my next task of the day? And I immediately just get to it. It's like it's just almost like a kickstart thing. It's like a jump start. Yeah.
No procrastination. Yeah. So that's one of my problems I battle with a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's you just feel mentally and physically charged up, ready for the day.
Right.
Not ready to procrastinate. Just get right into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something that can be implemented by like a broad range of people.
Yeah.
So here we go, an affordable tool, so to speak. Yeah. So and then you can, as they say, get after it and conquer the day. All those things will fall into place. Yeah. Well. Tremendous. So here you go. So basically we need to sleep well if we just want to kind of like conclude that, right? Wrap it up. So we need to sleep well the night before. So at least 6 hours looks like that's kind of the borderline, right?
Yeah, less than 6 is no good.
Unhealthiness.
Yeah, some people can get away with maybe 6.5, but you really want to strive for 7, 8.
What about 7, 8? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So yeah, that's the first one. Then wake up. So waking up immediately, I think yeah, that does help with time. So I just have to go through this kind of like fire of unwillingness to wake up on time, but then eventually it was kind of like now it's easier to wake up around
Yeah.
like 5 a.m. I think 5:15. That's my kind of normal time to wake up. I give myself maybe 15 minutes, okay, like, and I wake up at 5:15 instead of like 5 sharp. And then we will get into this like savers routine, right? So that could be something that can be done after, let's say, brushing your teeth and taking a shower, for instance, drinking water. Just about 6 minutes. Well,
I have one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I have one last recommendation
Yeah.
because you mentioned the ability when you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. I think a good
Oftentimes.
I have a book recommendation.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's called The War of Art by
War of
Steven
Art.
Pressfield.
Yeah, that's right.
you heard
I
that
read that one. Yeah.
I think that's a great book.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
anytime
Really
I feel a resistance. As I
Yeah.
think back to that book,
Okay.
I'm like, it's like me versus the resistance. So like if you're getting out of bed and you're like you feel that resistance,
Yeah.
you want to get up. It's like no, it's you versus that resistance. So it's something to just think of, a book recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just go against this resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, that's something that we can keep in mind, and it's only kind of the resistance that's in the way. Once we go through that, we'll get to the goal. So, or we might as well enjoy the process of kind of battling against resistance. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that is tremendous. So now we have some actionable tools
Yeah.
for awakening and feeling energized mentally and physically upon this time of the day. All right. Well,
Cool.
thanks, Matt.
Good stuff.
Excellent job. And then we'll finish it up with some powerful but scooting, pretty traditional